right here, and I don't know if you heard me when you were driving
I
in
did.
there.
I heard you as I was pulling in.
With my abbreviated and deviated schedule, and I end up with abbreviated.
I heard that.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Doing well.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us this morning. I know you have a lot going on, 7 days a week, and then you're thinking maybe you get one day of.
It was a busy weekend this weekend. We trying to do stuff with your family, on Memorial Day weekend, and going out there. And as a matter of fact, we're leaving here in a little bit to go do some stuff at the lake. But I'll be honest with you, I forgot it was Monday.
Forgot it was a Monday. Yeah, I almost did that too. So
I was thinking tomorrow was Monday for some reason. I don't know why.
Something with 3-day weekends, your scheduling gets a little bit.
It does, and there's so much other stuff out there to do. When you're still, of course, with me, I work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so all my days kind of run together sometimes.
Right. Well, hopefully you'll be able to get some rest and relaxation and have a day off every once in a while.
I think so. We went out of town this weekend and spent some time out, just getting away from the phones, getting away from citizens for a little bit. Sometimes you need just a break, trying to catch your breath and try to regroup.
Have you ever gotten to that point where you're able to just to turn your phone off, leave it at home, and then go away for just a little bit?
Yes and no. You never really get away.
Right.
I mean, even when you go on vacation and those type of things, there's always, you need your cell phone for personal business, if your family emergencies and things of that nature. So I'm never really comfortable with being completely out of touch. Yeah, you need some way of getting hold of me. Well, by the time you figure in Facebook and, and then messaging and text messaging and phone calls and all that, I'm always available. People can always get a hold of me.
We really have become so dependent on technology. There's some days where I'll try to spend the morning as a little quiet morning, and then like 6 or 7 people are texting me and calling me at one time. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to take a few breaks, a few minutes, turn my phone off, and just have a quiet day for a while.
Yeah.
But even then, when I do that, I still get a little worried that. What if we're off the air?
That's it. I always worry about what goes on. For my people and my staff I have working for me, even though I know they're very capable, I know they don't need me most days to function and survive. Sometimes I feel like they do, and I feel like they need my input.
It's good to be needed,
right? And even though I realize, they're very capable and very good staff, very good employees, and the world goes on without me. Sometimes you feel isolated, and you feel like you need to be there and be a part of things.
All right. You said it was a busy weekend. Did much happen in the world of law enforcement over the weekend?
Not a whole lot. One thing I do want to say before we get started, we neglect to say this. I do want to say Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there, and we do want to spend a moment. Just the reason I wanted to come on in today, even though we did an abbreviated show, I wanted to come in today and just show my appreciation for those that have served in the military and given their life. And a lot of people give sacrifice in different ways.
Right.
Memorial Day is a day of thinking about those who have given their life and have fallen for us, for our freedom. But you also got to remember there's millions of servicemen and women out there who have given in different ways, that they might have given their life, but they may have given limbs, and they may have given families, and they may have given jobs, and they may have given a lot of different things they could have done with their life. Sacrificed in those ways, just so we can have freedom, and just so we can be a nation that can worship God in freedom, and be a nation that has free elections, and be a nation that can pass laws and kind of regulate ourselves as citizens. And that says a lot, for those people who's willing to sacrifice. So we want to thank all the sacrifices that's out there, not just the people that's lost their life.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard to find a family out there who was not affected, who doesn't have a relative that's either serving or has, I know we all have ancestors who have passed on, and that was their duty is to protect us.
It is.
And it's nice that, if anybody listened to Party Line this morning, just hearing some of the calls that came in, just wanting to recognize their loved ones.
Yeah,
it's good that we are able to take a day and remember those.
It is, and even on the home front, we have law enforcement officers that every day are sacrificing and doing those things they need to do, and a lot of people tend to forget that on these weekends when everybody's at the lake and enjoying things, and our military are still fighting, and when there's people are having barbecues and doing these things, our law enforcement officers are still on the street, and they're still serving the public. And we don't think about that a lot when it comes to Thanksgiving and Easter and Christmas and all those holidays that we enjoy with our family. But there's men and women all over the world that sacrifice in different ways just so that we can have the freedom. And so we just want to thank everybody for that.
Yeah, because public safety does not stop just because it's a holiday.
It continues on.
Yeah, and I would say even more that there's a lot more enforcement of. I've seen a lot of blue lights on the road, pulling over speeders and people who are maybe intoxicated.
Right.
I was noticing yesterday when I was driving home. It was in the evening time. I was just passing out there between McDonald's and that 35 zone. Mm-hmm. I was going probably 35 or 36, and people were flying past me and
that's the thing about a lot of people get aggravated, frustrated when they get speeding tickets and get pulled over and all those kind of things. But it really is for their safety. Mm-hmm. It's you hear all kind of things about quotas and generate money for the state and all that, and that's not so. But officers right here doing that just to make sure that you're safe and to make sure you don't hurt yourself or someone else.
And the speed there is for a reason, because if you're pulling out of one of those fast food restaurants or anything there and someone's coming at you at 60 miles an hour, it's that's going to do some damage.
It is.
There's a lot of blind spots.
And it's so narrow through there, too, you have nowhere to go.
And I realize that we have a lot of people out of town coming through here, going to destination, because this is pretty much a major road connecting like Chattanooga and Asheville.
Right.
So, and there's a lot of out-of-town traffic this weekend for sure.
A lot of traffic this weekend. And be careful out there. When you're on the roadways, be safe, drive safely. Even, what I found is even when you speed and you do these things above the speed limit, when you get to your destination, you only save a couple minutes, for most times, unless you're going to extreme distances. But if you're going from Murphy to Andrews and you drive 10 mile an hour over the speed limit, you're only cutting off a couple minutes by the time you get to Murphy to Andrews. And so, it's not really worth it. It's not really worth it to put yourself in danger, put other cars in danger.
And I know it's easy to do because I've been guilty of speeding myself, and I have a really quiet car and really smooth car, and I'll look down thinking I'm going 55, and it's at 70. It's like, whoa. So then I've got to do the cruise control thing just to stay safe.
My son's learning to drive. He's 15 and is going to be turning 16 this fall. Mm-hmm. And every time he gets in the car, he puts cruise control on, and which is good. I mean, he keeps from speeding the other way. Mm-hmm. But I often tell him, I say, son, you're going to have to learn how to drive without a cruise control because you can't use it everywhere around here.
Right. And even if the roads are wet, it's really bad. A lot of people don't realize it's bad to use cruise control on the wet roads. Right. If you hit a puddle, your wheels are going to keep on speed up there.
But you talked about things at the sheriff's office this week. One of the big stories this week, and people, it's already been on Facebook, people's been talking about it, we've been having some breaking and enterings down on the northwest side of the county, down in the Hiawassee Dam community, Pack Mountain, Schiller's Creek, Unaka, those type of areas. And we're increasing patrols in those areas. We're actually hiring people on a part-time basis or off-duty basis to come in and actually patrol those areas for extra patrol, just for the sheer fact of that it's in such remote areas that by the time we even get called a lot of times and get to those areas, a lot of times the perpetrator's already gone. And a lot of times the houses are already broken into, and the people are gone before they even find them. And so, as you've seen on the news lately through Facebook and through different media outlets, some of these people that we've been catching have been from out of town. They've been, we caught some from Kennesaw and Marietta and that area up here breaking into houses. We've caught some from Tennessee over here breaking into houses. And so, it's kind of hard if you don't catch them right then. It's kind of hard to track it down later because that property gets gone so quick. And when it's not local people that's doing it, there's no word of mouth, there's no talking back and forth as to where they're moving the stuff or where it's going to and things of that nature. So it's very, very hard for investigators to track that kind of stuff down. But one of the things that happened this week down in the Pack Mountain area, we had actually a call of a breaking in and in progress, and a neighbor saw a vehicle into a house loading some property up and knew the house to be vacant. He was the caretaker of the house. And he called for us to come down, and we were responding to the house, and the dispatcher was trying to advise him not to block the roads, not to do these things because of the danger part of it. You didn't want to have a confrontation with the people. So this homeowner decided that instead of having a confrontation with the people, he'd just cut a tree across the road and leave. And he did. He cut a tree across the road and left the residents, left them blocked in. There were some different outlets, some different ways of getting out, and the suspects, when we got down there, found the suspects had tried to leave through some back roads and get out that way. where they wound up getting stuck and getting their car stuck in a ditch. Our officers, just to commend our officers a little bit, when they got to the house, they did some walking and walked back in the woods and found the people with the car and found them there, and actually arrested them and had to walk a mile or so out of the woods to bring them back out. So not only did we want to commend our citizens for doing something brave as far as trying to block them in, but we also want to commend our officers for going that extra mile and actually combing the woods and tracking down some of these roads until they found these people. So, but there was an arrest made there. There were 3 people arrested out of that incident. They were found with drugs on them, paraphernalia and things of that nature. And so, we're increasingly finding stuff like that going on and these things happening. So in these particular areas, we're trying to increase patrols and trying to increase these things, but it's extremely difficult to stop. It's extremely difficult to solve a lot of times. And one of the things that we face a lot of times is people get frustrated because they have things happen in their area. They have drug dealers living next door. They have houses getting broke into. They have these things, and they get frustrated because we can't be there. They say, well, we've got a lot of traffic. We've got a lot of things happening. Why can't you do anything about it? It simply just comes down to a manpower issue. It simply comes down to not having enough people to get everywhere it needs to be gotten to. And literally, every neighborhood, every community, every place we have in the county have these type of problems. And so we're trying to do the best we can and get to the places that we can get to, but there's only a limited amount of money, there's only a limited amount of people, there's only a limited amount of time to get to these places. These people know what houses they're going to break into, they know where they're going to go, and it's impossible for us to read their mind and get there before they do. And so when they break into the houses, we have no other recourse except try to catch them while they're doing it or solve the crime after it happens.
You did bring up something that's worth thinking about and preparing for. The dispatchers were encouraging the person to avoid confrontation.
Right.
What should a person do if either they're at home or they walk into their house while there are people robbing their house?
Well, those are judgment things that you have to do while you're there because every situation is different. Mm-hmm. But I will say this: there's no amount of property. There's no amount of money, there's no amount of guns in your home or no amount of TVs that you have that's worth losing your life over.
Right.
There's nothing there that's worth either getting hurt or hurting someone over. And, it's a judgment call that you have to do if you were to walk in on one of those situations. What I suggest to people, though, if just like this situation, if you see a neighbor's house getting broken into, if you see drug dealing going on, you see these things happening, unless you have specialized training, unless you have specialized authority, I would suggest not getting personally involved in that as far as trying to intervene in those situations.
Right.
Observe, document, observe what's going on, document tag numbers, document descriptions of people, vehicle descriptions, things of that nature. So when you do report it to 911 or report it to a police officer that shows up, you can give accurate descriptions of what you saw.
And it may not hurt getting some photographs if you're...
Yeah, that is true also. About everybody's got a cell phone now, so there's nothing to stop people from taking pictures of someone or clicking a video on your phone and videotaping what's happening. As a matter of fact, on Mobile Patrol app, a lot of people have that app on their phones, and you download it to your phone, and you can go to the Play Store or go to iTunes. I guess it's iTunes. What is it on the Apple product?
I think it is iTunes. I think it might have been App Store, and then it became
iTunes. They changed it again. I have a Droid, so I don't use it. I'm the same. But you can go to the Play Store on Droid, and you can download Mobile Patrol. And on this Mobile Patrol app, it actually has a section where you can report crime, and you can actually type in what the crime is. You can videotape, take a picture, whatever, and then you can actually send it. And it sends it to the local sheriff's office or police department that's on Mobile Patrol from wherever your location is. Mm-hmm. So if you're in Atlanta, you're at the mall, you're shopping, you see a fight, you see robbery, you see this thing happening, you can actually videotape it and hit send, and it would go to that local police department down there. It would go to wherever you're at. So,
it's called Mobile Patrol.
Mobile Patrol.
One word, right?
Yeah. And also with that, it has a list of different things on there. You can scroll to the left, and it has like the inmates and latest bookings and all those kind of things. So a lot of people like that app and you utilize that app. And it has like a news feed, kind of like Facebook,
Right.
of law enforcement news feeds that come out for the surrounding area. So anytime there's alert, I know we got one over the weekend for an escapee out of Tennessee and a robbery somewhere else that somebody was looking for. So it comes over that region, that area, wherever you're located, and notifies you, Amber Alerts, things of that nature. So, just simple apps like that you can put on your phone. But one thing is, I want to go back and say again, I don't think we should intentionally put ourselves in danger.
Right.
And even with your home, like I say, I can't tell you what to do. That's a judgment call you have to make. But if you were to drive into your driveway and see someone at your home loading vehicles up or whatever, I would dare say that it would not even be worth confronting them at your own home. Mm-hmm. I would say back out, call 911, let police officers come and deal with it. Because like I say, there's no amount of money, there's no amount of property that's worth getting hurt over, losing your life over.
And I've seen these ridiculous lawsuits too, that someone broke into another person's house and got injured in the process and sued the homeowner for negligence.
Right. Yeah. That happens.
That happens, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
To be honest, that does happen, and some judge will side on the side of the burglar.
I've never understood that. I think that most judges, especially in our region, would throw those type of lawsuits out.
I think so too.
They'd never make it to a trial. But that don't stop people from filing them. They can still file any kind of suit you want to file. But most of the time when they're filed like that, unless there's some egregious act, the court system would throw that type of lawsuit out.
Right. I saw on Logan's Run Rescue page a picture of you,
right.
And you had discussed with Logan's Run about some immediate needs. I think they wanted to talk with you about animal control.
Right.
What came of those talks?
We've had some discussion about animal control in Cherokee County, and we talked about some different problems and things that's going on. One of the things Logan's Run did for us is we have, as you know, we have canines, we have drug dogs, and also tracking dogs and things of that nature. One of the problems we ran into is when officers bring those dogs to work with them and maybe have a meeting, and maybe they're going to be in a meeting for a while, or maybe they're got training duties or different things they have to, that ties up their time for a while. They have nowhere to keep those animals at the sheriff's office. A lot of times they'll bring a cage inside and put them inside the office and keep them in there. But one of the things that we discussed in the sheriff's office and Logan's Run helped us out with, we poured a concrete pad outdoor, and they donated some kennels to the sheriff's office. They give us a couple kennels and with houses and water bowls and feeders and those kind of things. And so we set those up outside the sheriff's office there to have a temporary storage place. So when we bring dogs in, they have a shade to get in, water to drink. If it was to blow up or rain or something, they have a house to get into to get in out of the weather, things like that. And we're going to go back and build a shed over them, just to have a little extra protection over those kennels. But with Logan's Run, they have really stepped up to the plate and helped the sheriff's office and helped the communities with some of the needs that are in the area. Discussions that's going to be coming in the future. I know Commissioner Stiles had argued this time for the sheriff's office to try to acquire an animal control officer and try to be dedicated just for that. It was something that the other commissioners didn't see a need of right now and didn't want to entertain that at this point. But that's something that we do need to pursue and keep looking at, for future needs that's going on out there. One of the big concerns is, and that you really get into a big heated debate within the community about this, is the issue of animal control and the issue of leash laws and things of that nature. We grew up in an area, in an era, not just an area, but an era where, all our animals ran loose, and they roamed the neighborhoods and other neighbors fed them and, and that type of thing. But more and more as time goes by and as years go by, we're getting to that place where society no longer accepts that and no longer accepts roaming animals and no longer accepts animals being on their property and tearing things up and, and stuff of that nature. Whereas used to, if we got flower beds dug out, you'd go put the dirt back in it, stick your flowers back in there and go on. But that's kind of changing. And our community is changing, and so that's something that we need to keep an eye on those changes and the needs of the community and what the community wants. One of the things I've said from the beginning, and I tell my deputies this all the time, is that we are responsible to answer to the people. And what the people decide and what the people want the sheriff's office to be, that's what we have to conform to be, and that's what we need to be, is to be there for the people. And so as time progresses and things change in Cherokee County, it's going to be up to the voice of the people as to what they want as far as these county ordinances and leash laws and animal control and things of that nature. So what I've encouraged people to do is the commission board is the one that ultimately makes those decisions as to whether to pass those kind of ordinances and issue money for those things. Now, one thing I don't want people to do is I don't want people to bombard the commissioners. I don't want them to harass them to death and things of that nature. But one thing that I do encourage people to do, if you have an opinion, if you have it one way or another, whether you want it, don't want it kind of thing, just contact your local commissioner and let them know how you feel about it. You know, whether that's something you agree with or disagree with, whether it's something you think we need or don't need. Because the simple fact of the matter is the commissioners can't make an informed decision if they don't hear from the public.
Right.
So it takes the public voicing their concerns to the commission board and county manager and people of that nature. So,
has our county ever had an animal control officer?
Not to my knowledge. We may have, but not to my knowledge.
I think Union County, Georgia, has an animal control officer. Macon County, North Carolina.
Macon County does.
And I'm not sure about the other surrounding counties.
Yeah. Macon County, I know Macon County did a full-scale animal control unit. They actually passed ordinances. They bought trucks, bought facilities. They actually used their county facility as a holding station. They hired officers that do nothing but animal control work. And so one of the things they said out there in Macon County was once they passed all that and did it full-fledged, or as we say here in the South, whole hog, once they jumped into it, that became their number one call for service. And so that's, it depends on your area, depends on where you're at, depends on what people want. And so, and like I say, I want to reiterate this again in case I get accused of this later. I'm not telling people to bombard the commissioners. I'm not telling people to harass them. I'm not telling people to, to do these things. But what I am saying is that if you have a strong opinion,
right, you
have to voice that. You have to voice it to someone. And since the commissioner is the one making these decisions and the county manager making recommendations, my advice is to contact them. And you don't have to be by telephone. You can do emails. You can do all kinds of different things. But just kind of let them know about the way you feel about it. Okay. And it may be that they get bombarded on the other side. If people don't want animal control. They don't want leash laws. They don't want these things. And so, but it's important that the commissioners and the county manager knows the will of the people so they can make informed decisions about what to do.
I know we have a problem with a lot of missing pets right now.
Yeah.
And it's hardly a day goes by that there's not a missing pet on WKRK's Facebook.
Right.
Usually there's 2 or 3 a day. And luckily there is that, resource that people can reunite. People will see that, I saw that. And sometimes it's within minutes that they get that
One
back.
thing I want to remind people about missing pets, there's a couple issues here. One is we have had in the past, I don't say we currently have, but we have in the past had people coming through the area stealing pets, basically.
Right.
And what they do is they take them to up north, New York, New Jersey, places like that, and sell them, either to research centers or sell them to just the public, just adoptions and things of that nature. So that has been an issue in the past. One of the things I do want to remind people about, though, especially people that's not from here, that's moved to this area, is we do have coyotes. And coyotes will kill pets. And so a lot of times people let their pets roam in their yards and roam out at night and things of that nature. And so just beware of the fact of that we do have wild animals here that will kill your pet every night. So if you have small animals, keep them indoors, don't let them out, keep them locked up, things of that nature every nighttime. So other wild animals won't get them.
Even with little small dogs, there's some birds that are big enough that will swoop
There
down.
are.
And
we have hawks and eagles. We have bald eagles. I know in the area I've seen quite a few, especially around the lakes and the rivers up here. And those are big enough that they can swoop down and pick up a small dog and leave with it. So.
Even in a fenced-in yard. I know a lot of people have designed these little wires that kind of go across the top of their dog wires to keep the birds from swooping down and finding food.
Yeah.
So, but on the luckily we do have resources like the Humane Society and Logan's Run.
We do.
And Castaway Pets and a lot of these organizations that are are there to help control the animal population and return animals back to home that help. So we have a huge list, and you can go to WKRK's website and click on the Missing Pets tab, and you can see a list of resources in our area. If you are missing a pet, or how many calls would you say you get per day about animals?
I printed them off. I don't remember exactly what the number was. I think we're averaging somewhere in the neighborhood of a couple a day, something like that, as far as involving animals, whether it's animal bites or animal complaints. When we talk about animal complaints, that could be anything from animals on someone else's property to barking dogs to, any kind of animal complaint. It could be all falls into that category. So we get a couple a day.
And there is an ownership responsibility that's needed. If you know that your dog is vicious and bites, don't let him get out and bite and harm people or kill other animals. That's just disrespectful. So there's that element of just being, a responsible dog owner. And or I guess any pet for that matter.
Yeah, it is. I mean, anytime you take on the responsibility of a pet, you must be responsible with it, and take care of that animal. Not just for the public's sake, but also for that animal's sake.
Right.
You don't want to neglect it. So if you adopt an animal or acquire an animal, please take care of it.
All right. Well, it looks like our abbreviated show.
I think it turned into a full-length show.
I think so.
All right. Well, I do have to go. I know my family's waiting on me, so I'm going to.
Well, thanks for taking time out of your family schedule to tell your family we appreciate them loaning you out today.
Thank you very much. And I want everybody to be safe today. If you're going to the lake, it's supposed to be hot today. It's supposed to get up around 90, I think. I think 85 or so here. So be careful, and if you're in the waters and boating and all those kind of things, please don't drink and boat. Don't, be in the lake and be intoxicated and things of that nature, because sometimes bad things happen. So just be safe today, have fun, and everybody get back to work tomorrow.
All right, Sheriff, thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's WKRK Radio in Murphy, North Carolina, Cable TV Channel 25, 105.5 FM, 1320, and one other place, country.am.